yes, they need the gospel, and they absolutely need to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ, but like we also need to meet the practical need first to establish that relationship so they can share that gospel.
Hey guys, welcome to the third installment of the Good Roots podcast. Today we are going to be handling contemplating homelessness. Seth, why is it so important to help the poor and needy?
Well, I think one of the biggest things in our generation, well, not in our generation, this has always been an issue. Homelessness has always been an issue, especially for the believer. I think is very, very important to, one, acknowledge it, to address it, and to also be aware of it. I think one of the biggest things for like us, especially as believers, is God has like directly demanded, or not demanded, but directly like challenged us to care for the homeless and the poor and the needy. And I think it's something that we're going to have to, like it's not going to ever go away until Jesus comes back. But I think it's something that we as believers need to be aware and be involved with hurt and pain and brokenness within the world. And I think that includes homelessness. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so crazy. So I was like Googling a bunch of facts about this, preparing for this podcast. There's over 8,638 homeless in Michigan.
Just in Michigan.
Like, that's incredible. That's a lot. That's a large population.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, yeah. Like there's millions and millions of more. That's just people that have been accounted for. Like there's probably like the statistics probably way higher.
Oh, yeah.
Especially within like the world. And within the US, like I don't know the number, but like I know there's like thousands and thousands and thousands in like LA and New York, bigger the city.
Well, you have Skid Row out in LA, which
right.
If anybody's look, that's a heartbreak, man.
Yeah, isn't that the veterans one? No. That's Skid Row. Oh yeah.
It's a community.
It's like a homeless community. It's crazy. There's actually, I was watching a documentary about it, and like they went to Skid Row, and it's just, it's crazy. It's like a whole built community of homeless people, but like they have like, there's organizations that do like pop-ups and stuff like that to be able to help these people. But yeah.
You know what breaks my heart too is like in those situations, like we've all driven in this city and we've all like passed that guy on the sidewalk and stuff like that, and they've got their sign out and stuff, and you know that falls into the category of traditional homelessness. And there's I think 4 types. There's chronic, traditional, hidden, and episodic.
Yep.
And it's bad because I think like we kind of get dulled to that at the sense of like, well, we'll just ignore him. And like I've done that, and I'm not, and it's rough because, you know, in every situation it's always different, and like how you handle it and stuff. But like I'm really getting a hard gut check right now, like just thinking about how like I've passed people by. Yeah. But yet at the same time, like I remember I was pulling up and I was at Van Dyke and Hall Road, all the way out in Shelby Township, and I was stopped, and there was a younger man, and he was out there. He didn't have a sign, but you could tell that he was homeless and struggling. So he came by. I gave him a whole tin of change, and he was like so grateful.
Yeah,
and like it's funny because in those situations, like you get back probably more than what they get.
Yeah, something too is like I always wrestle with like sometimes there's like this weird stigma, or not stigma, but it's like it's giving just to make us feel better, and like that's not the point. It's like.
Right.
Like for me, I don't want to just do something just like for my benefit. Like I mean, obviously like we do it because we're selfish people. But I'm kind of like a pushback when it comes to like, I'm not going to give money to this person because like, I just want to feel better.
Right now.
Yeah. Or like, you know, it's just going to make me feel better. And sometimes it is to a fault to where like, I'm kind of like rationalizing or justifying. Like I live near Grosse Pointe Park on the east side of Detroit, and like, every time I go on the on-ramp to I-94, like south, like there's always a guy at the corner on the on-ramp. And like it breaks, like there's been times where it's like I've given him like a homeless package or like a hygiene kit or whatever. And those are the times that are like, because I'm like practical because of my thoughts, and we all like wrestle with these thoughts of like giving money, because it's like, well, I don't know what he's going to use it for. Like he's going to use it for drugs. But it's not on you to use it. Right. And that's the thing. It's like, but it's so hard because I think culturally, even like within my household, it's like that's kind of been a mentality. It's like doing that. And I think like when Jesus in Matthew 5:42, he says like, you know, give to the one who asks you and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. And like reading this verse, like we're kind of setting up verses for this podcast and this topic. And that one actually like really convicted me, because the other day I was like, passing a guy that was, on the side of the road, and like, I had no money, I had nothing to give him. And so like wanting to like challenge myself to like have stuff with me to like give would be something that could be like a good first step, like having like a hygiene kit or making an intentional effort to like do that, or have like cash or something like to give. But two, I think, and this kind of goes into a little bit, of like the projects that we're doing. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but with like Good Roots Collective, that's like our passion is like homelessness and nonprofits, more like nonprofits and like just Christian nonprofits, but like people that are going to give to help the homeless in practical ways. Like I could give $10 to someone and it might be gone within like a day, but we
want to show you where your money's going.
Right. But we want to show, exactly. Like we with Good Roots, we partnered with like Wave Project, which they are an amazing nonprofit.
Todd is awesome.
Todd is one of our favorite people.
Scott, we met Scott down when we were down at the thing.
Yeah. Scott is both Scott and Todd are both amazing people, and like Wave Project is welcoming everyone, it's welcoming all, valuing everyone. Yeah, that's the acronym for Wave, and their project is what they do is they have a mobile shower that's hooked up to a trailer, and they go to different parts of Detroit and they provide mobile showers for people that have nothing. And they also have an essentials van that gives out like hygiene kits, hoodies.
It gives out socks, underwear. They were actually talking on their website, and I was watching one of their videos, and they were offering these showers, and people were like, yeah, but like if I don't have anything to change into, I got to put on my old bad clothes and stuff. Right. Like, do I even really want a shower? Because you're just going to feel dirty the moment you put it on. So they actually started like underwear, socks, and clothing in the back and stuff like that, so they could change out.
Yeah, and so like we're kind of like shamelessly plugging that because we really love these guys, and like that's like that for me. It's like that's an example of where like I think like I can do this too, right? We have an excuse of why we won't give, right? And it's like, this is like a perfect example of like, well, I don't like these people are literally going out into these communities to provide a practical need and also share the gospel. Like, why wouldn't I help out in some way?
Right.
You know, like it's if you're like too afraid to give someone $10 on the side of a highway or side of the road or whatever, like, and not too afraid, but if something that's like worries, you're concerned about it. These are great avenues. There's tons of avenues. So like Blessings Bag Brigade, they do hygiene kits. We support them too, through our shirts and through our beanies and our hats. And then Wave Project, we're starting. Should I announce that? Yeah. Oh right. Yeah. Like we're starting. Sorry, let me restart.
You know what's really funny is I hope this makes it in it because should I announce that? Yeah. Listen, we already have the hoodies. We're doing a promo shoot October 1st. Like we are going to be running.
Well, this podcast is going to be at the end of the month, so everything's going to be.
It's already going to be announced.
Yeah. So let me restart that. Yeah, like we're working with Wave Project by selling hoodies to help provide showers and also
which these hoodies are super this is the thing I love about Good Roots is you still, even though like you're giving stuff, like you're contributing, you are still getting high quality stuff too. Yeah. Like sorry for the same shameless plug on us, but like I love our brand. Yeah. Like I'm proud to rep our brand.
Like we work with a local distributor, which Premier Design, I think, or have to look that, but it's Premier, like they do.
It's the good news.
Yeah, good news. Good news is like
we love you. Good news.
We love good news, but like they
I want to do it, even though you're the enemy.
You're not the enemy.
You're gonna laugh. He'll laugh when he sees that. He'll laugh at that part.
Oh, yeah, but no, we love like that because it supports a local business, and it's like a bunch of supporting of each other. Like you're supporting us to be able to do content like this, to be able to sell more hoodies because we use the profits to basically bleed back into buying more apparel so that you guys can get more apparel to help fund more hoodies or more showers. With the white hoodies, which is awesome, which I love this, it's buy one, give two. So it's like you buy one hoodie, you give two hoodies. Like you're making a huge impact, especially for the fall. And that's something that we really value. And so, yeah, kind of going back a little bit, but like, you know, it is important to give to the poor and the need because Jesus has already said like these are the people that are kind of the unwanted. And like I know that like Jesus, even back in Matthew and like throughout the Gospels, like you see him constantly going to the people that were like unwanted, right?
The leopards,
the blind and the poor and like the people that were just like ostracized. And it's like we as Americans, and I'm going to call us out, like we're so sometimes blind to the brokenness of humanity around us. Like legitimately, like I was out with a really awesome nonprofit as well called Ellie's House, and they do outreaches for people that have been in like sex trafficking and also like homelessness and like drug addiction. And we did an outreach with them where we just handed out like hygiene kits and lunches and things like that. And dude, like the joy on people's faces just to get something like that, like was insane. And it just like, it puts impact. It just put in perspective of like, this is literally like 3 or 4 miles down from where I live. And it's like, I would have had no idea that this existed if I didn't do that. And we get so cushy. Like we get so wrapped up. David Platt, one of this really amazing pastor, that he wrote a book called Reckless, I believe, or I think it's not Reckless. What is it? It's Radical. It's called Radical. And I haven't read it, but I've like listened to some of the podcasts that he has, and it's in that realm of just living a radical life that's not being ignorant. And there's this one sermon that he does where he's like talking about his time in Nepal and just like the brokenness of that area and like just this isolation that people and the rejection of the gospel. And he was telling the story where he was walking through a village and he had a backpack on and they have snacks and stuff inside their backpack, and they're told in the village, like, do not like give out food because it can cause, more harm than good. And he's going through and there's this little girl and she like comes and like grabs his hand and he's like walking with her and stuff. And he's at the end of the trail through the village and she knows like he has food and she was like making a notion, like, like, please, like, just give me some food. And like, he was like, no, I can't. And he was trying to pull his hand away and like, eventually like had to just like rip it away. And like the girl, tried to spit on him and like, but she couldn't because she like didn't have like enough saliva or whatever. And like from malnourishment. And it was just like he was like, he had to just turn away and walk away. And he was like saying, I don't want that to be the reaction to like people in need, like that I just turn and walk away. And that's something that's been challenging to me. And we're broken because we don't live it all the time and we live in comfort. But it's just something that I really, really took to heart and just like asking, like, when do I do that? Like most often towards people that are like crying out, like kind of holding out their hand for something. Where do I just turn and walk away? Because, yes, they need the gospel and they absolutely need to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. But like, we also need to meet the practical need first to establish that relationship so they can share that gospel. So I just like, that's something that I see as like, especially for us as believers, like we're called to this, like we're called to be for the needy. Yeah. So
let me, let me round us back. Alex, so when you were down with the Wave Project and we were shooting that video and stuff, I really saw that you just kind of really dived in. Like, I felt like your color just really showed. Like, you were just so immersed with the guests and stuff. Like, share your experience. I saw you talking with that one gentleman. Would you, if you want, like, if that's cool, would you like to share that experience that you had?
Yeah, so we got down there, and I didn't really know what we were about to do. Like, it was a closed area. It was an interesting, like,
My guard was definitely up. Yeah.
It was an interesting perspective, because we were just kind of forced into this parking lot. And so we had a closed area. So we kind of had to, like, I just kind of forced myself to go talk to people. And I met this guy, Jewel, and we had a really good conversation. And next thing you know, like he starts praying for me, and I'm starting to pray for him. And it was just really cool getting to meet Jewel and a couple of other of the homeless people down there that lived in the shelter.
Yeah. Did Jewel like tell you his story or anything like that?
I think he did a good job of like reflecting back at you, because I remember like you were talking to me and I was asking you what was going on, and it sounded like almost to the point like God was using him to like push into you. Like I feel like that's what you were telling me when we were down there, and how like that direction went.
Yeah.
So like so when they were down there, I feel like he was really pressing into you. So like, do you want to expand on that? Because I know some of it was a little personal. If you can censor it, just, you know, and you don't have to. We can always cut that out.
I want to like feel like I can't even like. It's like I can't remember it.
Well, I remember that like you had that conversation with him, and he like started asking you about your parents, and you got emotional with him, and like you almost got raw with him. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Do you remember the emotion more than the actual moment?
I remember the emotion more than the moment.
So explain on the emotion that you were feeling.
I can't even really explain it. It's like
so you're kind of like in awe.
It was more of just like being in awe of like the Holy Spirit. Like the Holy Spirit was present.
Yeah.
Both back and forth, and I'm not sure how he ended up in there, but I know that he wanted to eventually get out and buy a home and have a place for other homeless people to come with him. But I think there's just a lot of things in this world that we focus on that don't necessarily need to be focused on, like worldly things, and kind of distractions from like the devil. And when we focus on those things, we lose track of what's really important. And it's that what's really important is loving God and loving one another.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool down there. Just
I remember on our way back, like we were all in the car and we were all kind of like, wow. Like it just kind of hit us really deeply. And I think like one of the biggest things that like moved me was they're human. And I'm not saying that like, oh my gosh, I thought they were robots or whatever whatever the comments could possibly come up with, like, oh no, homeless people are chickens or birds aren't real or whatever it is.
Birds are actually a government.
Yeah, whatever is, you know what I'm talking about. But like I was like, these are human beings. Like, and I think that we objectify them as like a cancer instead of these are human beings that have either are in substance abuse. And in this day and age, like you can reach your arm out and someone you know is struggling with substance abuse. Like it is a disease across this country, right? So that is not something that is so far unrelatable. Right. So there's disease, there's mental health, there's domestic violence, and then there's loss of job. Like all those are like the 4 main causes of homelessness, right? Mm-hmm. I know people that have experienced every single one of those things. They've just been lucky, right? Or they've had a network. What about those people that don't, right? So they are human beings, and we really do like see them as a cancer. And like when me and Seth were talking about this show, when we were talking about setting up this podcast and like talking about this episode, I told him, I said that it's like they're like the leopards of the Bible. Yeah, they are. They are, because you drive by them every day, and I've done it. You drive by them, and they're just going to use my money for drugs. They're just going to use it for alcohol, or it's just they don't want to work, or this or that, whatever. And we all have heard that story about the guy holding the sign out there, and there was a help wanted behind him. But you don't know the mental state of that man. Right. You don't know if he even knew what he was writing on that sign. You don't know his story, right? So these are all human beings. Yeah. These are all people that I believe in the Bible, when it was the leopards, right? I think there's Jewish law. You can go with like 104.
Yeah, it was like I think 100 or 50 feet or something like that.
Or something like that. Like it was a significant difference. And like, please leave in the comments what the distance is. Like, let's see who can get it right. Yeah. But yeah, so you'd have to stay a certain distance away from them, like per Jewish law, right? You're not allowed to go near. I think it was a population or a Jewish person, right? Mm-hmm. And Jesus just walked out and met him. Yeah. Well, he broke the law, like in that sense of and that's what it was so beautiful. Is like he went against every tradition that like the Jewish, hierarchy just like established. Right. And it's like how like even culturally, like that was, it was so ingrained into your culture. And I think for us too, it's like, how are we culturally like breaking that? Just as Jesus did, as a church, we're called to like go. I'll tell you this though, like going down and being immersed in that. Yeah. That was a culture breaking experience. Yeah. And just like, it just boggles my mind. It's like, it's so close to home. It's like right there, Like we were literally like a couple blocks from your house. Yeah. I literally live like, because we were down on Mac Avenue. Down the road. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like, that's the thing. It's like, it's so, it just puts in perspective just how close it's not one of those things like, oh, that happens over there, right? Like that happens in another country. Happens everywhere. Like it's like right down the block from where we live. Like, and it's it just really puts in that weight of how close to home it actually is. Go ahead.
One thing I want to say like about the Wave Project and what they're doing, it's like you never really know how much an impact of just a simple shower can give these guys. Like, that's another thing. Leave in the comments what a shower means to you. Yeah. Seriously. Because it is, dude, I wake up, I'm going to go take a shower. Right. I'm going to go brush my teeth.
So easy.
These guys, like, some of them haven't showered in like a week or two. Yeah. Like, and you could tell on their faces like how much of a difference like it meant to them.
It's like that guy Jules. He said, "I don't want to smell me." Yeah. He's like, "I don't want to smell me. I don't want other people. I want to be." He said when we interviewed him, he said, "I want to be like a social acceptable. I want to be acceptable wherever I go." Could you imagine like living a life where you're not accepted, like just
one basic need,
right? And you can't fix it,
right?
You can't go, what are you going to go jump in the Detroit River in the middle of fall? Like, you'll die. Like, there's a difference. Like, okay, we'll go put some deodorant on. All right, well, what do you want me to do? I don't have money. I don't have anybody out here helping me. Right. Yeah. I'm all by myself. Right. I'm doing what I can. Like, and you can't be socially acceptable. And we all know it, too. Like, you walk by someone who's homeless, and people will be like, oh, like, we got to go. Yeah. Well, okay, like, that happens. I was in the Marine Corps, dude, for like 6 years, and I've gone a month without showering, and I've stunk. Yeah. But the moment I could take a shower was probably one of the best feelings I ever had. It's like I washed all the pain and problems off me from like being out in the field and just like going through the grind.
Yeah, like showers are so like it's just so easy for us, like for people that have accessibility like that, and like you're saying, it's just like it opens that door to the like vulnerability for someone. Like providing a need that simple, but like so impactful to just say like, we love you, like absolutely unconditionally love you. Just like being the hands and feet of Jesus to provide a shower. Like that's a practical need that leads into, eternal like salvation. And I think like it's just so beautiful because like it is just a shower, but for them it means so much more.
So we were talking at my church last Sunday, and we were talking about 3 different types of blessed, right? There's like the, I got a car, yeah, like, ooh, God's looking good, right? And then there's the like, I don't remember exactly. I'm sorry, Pastor Robert. I was paying attention. But it was like, I got a car, and it was like, I don't know, like internal needs or something like that. But then there's like the basic need, right? So like, for us, like, we're blessed. We get to put on a podcast, right? They get in Africa and they're like, man, we are so blessed because we have water within a mile of walking from where we are, right? Yeah. And that's a need.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a need blessing, right?
Yeah.
So like we are so blessed beyond blessed that, and I hate the word blessed term.
Yeah.
But like, even on our worst day, we get to take a shower. Yeah. Even on our worst day. I got a bed to lay it in right now.
We get to go home with food in the fridge, food in the cupboards.
Right.
You know?
Like, I'm not in line right now waiting for food from, you know, a soup kitchen or something like that, or along those lines. Like, and like, don't get me wrong, I love that those people do that. And if I was in that situation, like, I couldn't contemplate that kind of pain. Because you're alone. You're really alone. Whether, you know, substance abuse has taken that, whether you've had to leave from a domestic violence because you feared for your life. Yeah. Or, you know, any number of reasons, right?
Yeah.
Like mental health, anything like that, right?
Yeah.
That can cause that kind of situation.
Yeah.
And they're alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, that's why I think when we went down to the Wave Project, like, one, they were so happy to be with the Wave Project, the guests that they had there.
Yeah.
Because like, we're in Detroit, we're on Mack Avenue, like, and like, when my girlfriend goes to work, like, we call that crossroads that she goes by the ghetto one, and it's by Mack Avenue. Like, oh, you're taking the rough way home.
Yeah.
Right. And to be down on there, like, she was there with me when she got in the car. She looked at me and or like, when she got in the car, we dropped you guys off. We dropped you off. She told me, she's like, I worry about stuff. It doesn't matter. And like, it just kind of hit her like heavy. Like, she was just like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, it shaped us. Like, you can, Alex, dude, like, that impact just shaped us. You know what I mean? And that wasn't my first time working with like the homeless community and stuff. Yeah. But I think because they were getting a shower. Yeah. Just a shower. Like, I don't know, like, it just hit me. Yeah. It just hit different. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's cool because when we're part of that kind of stuff and we're able to volunteer and be able to kind of be there, in that we can kind of, like, we have the opportunity to get down on that level. Like, we're not going to fully understand, but we're able to like get down on that level just like Jesus has for us, and like just be like, wow, like, I don't understand everything that you're going through, but I want to listen. I want to hear. And I think sometimes it's just like the best is just to listen. And share their stories. And like, this is kind of leading for you, Alex, like, as a creative as well. And like, especially with your photos, like, how, like, as a creative, have you been able to use your abilities to like tell the story of people in need? Like, what are what are some of the stories that you've told? And then like, how, as a creative, how has that been able to be an opportunity for that?
Trying to like think of this question. Like,
it's kind of, is there a better way to phrase it?
What are you doing creatively? Like, when we were down there, what were you doing to tell that story, to help them? Like, obviously you're taking pictures, but like, go a little more in detail.
So I went at it. I went at the shoot, not necessarily trying to take the pictures, but I was trying to make conversation and trying to understand where that person's at,
right?
Where Jewel was at, and like, I wanted to get the pictures, but like, it wasn't my most important thing. Like, I wanted to get to know the person on a personal level.
Right.
So when we went
First
down,
time kind of putting
when we went down there, it was like my first time running point on a film shoot, right? And it was your first shoot with Good Roots. And I know your mentality was based on just having conversation. Well, mine was like the polar opposite. It was like, I got to get these shots. I got to do this. I got to do that. So I remember you were talking to Jules over on the side where they had the wave truck, right? And it kind of went back to that lunch area. Mm-hmm. So I'm running up with the gimbal and I'm doing like this pan shot of you. And I remember like just kind of like watching you two through my monitor, and it like kind of clicked. It was like, just put it down. Like, just take it in what you're doing. Like, if I would have stayed in that mentality, I would not have allowed my heart to be impacted, because then I started watching you and I was like, you know, you're a quieter guy. You're definitely a one-on-one guy.
For sure.
And I really thought that like putting you in that element was going to be like a lot. Like, it was going to be a little overwhelming in the sense of like pulling you into yourself a little bit. Mm-hmm. And like, it was the complete opposite. Like, I just saw you get out and I just saw like the love of Christ just like start flowing through you. Like, I just want to meet people. I just want to connect. Yeah. I just want to do that. And it was just such an eye-opening thing. But like, your perspective changed. What you were doing changed what I was viewing. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like, the way you were handling it just affected me and pulled me out of this. I got to get this done. And really like took a second. I was like, wow, like, look what God's doing around me. And like, I'm just so zoned in on something, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that was like an awesome experience. I know, like I said, like when we got in the car, we had conversation, like we were talking, like, can you believe, like we were just affected.
Yeah. Even before going down there, like I was praying to God before going down, like, please help me, give me some guidance. Like,
right.
I want the Holy Spirit to be present there. And like,
yeah, he definitely was.
Yeah.
And I think that's so cool. And it's just like we get the opportunity to do that. And I think it's so cool to be able to make an impact and then not just practically, but like spiritually, you know. And I think it's like as we move forward, and especially with like our content and like how we're shaping our apparel and our lifestyle brand or whatever, that's our focus. And like when we say like the phrase love one another, like we mean that. It's not, we're not trying to be a facade. We're not trying to just sell apparel just for selling's sake. Like our heart really is to see people, one, to know Christ, but two, like to be able to meet the need that's there, present and just like instantly, or not, sorry, to be able to meet the need that's present and needed to be, I can't say it, just meeting the need that's present. I guess that's the best way to put it.
So there are a few ways. So we have 2 campaigns out right now, and I know we talked about them and stuff like that, but I want you guys to give serious thought to helping these nonprofits. You get a sweet hoodie out of it. You give 2 hoodies. If you buy one of our T-shirts and hats and beanies too, correct?
Yeah.
You get to give a hygiene bag to the Blessing Bag Brigade. And what's so cool about them too is they will actually take a picture of your name and send it to us, and we'll highlight you. Not so we can give you self-recognition, but so you can see like, hey, like this really is where I'm putting my money. And like if you go to the Good Roots Collective store, links are on all our social medias, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. You can go shop our store and like, listen, you're getting high quality, you're helping people in need, and you're doing it for a good cause. Like it. And first, like our hoodie or our T-shirt is $20.
Yeah.
That's the cost of a regular T-shirt, and you're still giving out a hygiene bag. Like,
they like we even got packages where it's like add in a hat for
we do.
Yeah,
yes,
we got discounts and stuff. Also too, like on our website, like I know we've been plugging our apparel a lot, but like if we also have links on our website, if you want to give directly to Wave Project and the Blessings Bag Brigade, we have links on there. If you go to our homepage, once you log into like thegoodrootsco.com, you'll see like more info on like the Blessings Bag Brigade and also Wave Project, and it gives you links, and they have donation options too. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening.
Hey guys, before we go, I just want to say a quick prayer for you guys. I just ask that the Lord bless you guys with the understanding of your surroundings. I ask that he help you all see where he has been bountifully blessing you. I know we tend to walk around this life, Lord, like we don't have enough, but in truth, like you have provided so much for us, Lord. And we thank you, Lord, and we just ask that you bring blessings down upon us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And again, to reiterate,
I felt it. I went for it. Sorry.
That's good. That's good. Also, to reiterate, the verse of the day, it's Matthew 5:42, and it says, Jesus said, "Give to the one who asks, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you." I just hope that's just a verse that resonates to your heart and, just guides you, especially when it comes to homelessness and being aware of it. But yeah.
So we want to thank Fellowship Chapel for allowing us to host this podcast. That is fellowshipchapel.net. If you guys are out in the Sterling Heights area, you guys are looking for an amazing Christ-centered church, this is definitely a church that we're checking out. They are they are for you, for Macomb, and for the world. So go ahead and check them out.
All right. And thank you guys for listening. And remember that we're here to love God, love people, and love life. And we love you guys. And remember, spread good roots. Have an amazing day.